Now here is an unusual challenge. What if you start in Minecraft pre-classic, the very earliest version of Minecraft, and your goal is to get up to Minecraft 1.14 or the most recent version of Minecraft. Your goal is to get to the most recent version every day, every sunrise. You advance a version. Every sunrise you get a new version, and every time you die, you go back a version and your world resets, or I think your world resets, something like that. Anyways, what about that challenge? That is going to be quite a challenge. We want to get from the pre-classic version, go through every version, every sunrise, a new version until we get to Minecraft 1.14. That is the goal. Is that even possible to do when every time you die, like hardcore mode, but not exactly, you go back a version every time you die? Is it possible to do that challenge and get from pre-classic all the way to Minecraft 1.14? Well, the first goal is to get from pre-classic through to alpha. And that is what we're going to try to do today, or at least start along the way. So, for this episode, we're going to be going through the pre-classic versions, at least as many as we can get through, probably the first two actually, because today, this version is the very first version of Minecraft that we have in the launcher. Basically, you left-click to place blocks, and then you right-click to remove blocks. You can dig down into the ground, and you can go down and stuff like that. You have some world down here. You have some lighting, apparently, it looks like. What our goal today is, in this particular episode, our overall goal, of course, is to get to Minecraft 1.14. Without dying, because every time we die, we revert back a version. But this version, you cannot die because it is basically creative. But our goal today, and we are for some reason going down a long ways, we're going to see how far this goes because it is a limited world. But our goal today is to try to build a defensive protection, not that they need it, but build a defensive protection for the Steves that we will find floating in the next version. We are going every 20 minutes because every sunrise is a new version, but there is no sunrise in this version. So yeah, since there's no sunrise, no day-night cycle, we're going to go every 20 minutes until there is a sunrise. Aha! There is the bottom. There's no sneak button, so we cannot walk over there or we will die. But let's go ahead and head back up. We can go ahead and try to build some structures on the surface. That is the goal. Whoops, there's, we need to, okay. We built ourselves into a block because right and left click are switched. Okay, I'm going to head back up to the surface and then go ahead and we're going to start building some things. Get ready for the next version when we have the Steves running around, which look very hilarious, actually, the Steves running around. So let's go ahead and head on right to there. So the way this version works, it appears to be that basically you left click to place blocks, and what happens is, and you right click to break them, what seems to happen is you have stone down there, you left click, it places stone. If you go on the grass layer, you left click, it places grass, but above that it places stone. So the only things that exist in this world are stone and grass. So yeah, alrighty, so let's go ahead and build a whole bunch of houses or something, whatever we want to do. Spend 20 minutes here in this version, and then I'll be back with you when we switch to the next version. Also, this is very difficult to build anything because left click is right click and right click is left click, and when you're left-handed, you have to use the WASD keys, which means the space is like underneath and it's very hard to reach and everything. It is very complicated to try to jump, but you do have jump in this version, which is very nice indeed. You do not have flying mode, but you do have jump. So, alright, gonna continue building this and see what we come up with in 20 minutes. One thing that makes this more difficult is the fact that you cannot just simply walk along and place down blocks because you can actually build yourself into a block. As you can see, we got a transparent block there because there's actually a block. You can go ahead and build yourself into a block in this version, so it's very hard to just simply run along like this and place down blocks. It makes it very difficult, but yeah, we're going to keep building some structures, see what we can come up with in 20 minutes, see how much of a defensive structure we can make. Not that there are any mobs or anything, but we're going to see what we can do. This would actually look very good with a wooden roof. A wooden roof will look very good on this thing, but unfortunately we do not have any wood. There is no wood in this version yet. This is just a smaller version of the big version of the structure made in this version of Minecraft without any wood. So let's just go ahead and go with it like this. It would be good to put some doors in, put a roof on, that would be very nice. But let's go ahead and keep building for 20 minutes. We have 13 minutes remaining. Here's a problem. I'm starting to get used to using right click to build with, left click rather, using the wrong button to build with. And then we're going to switch into the later versions where survival actually matters, and then we'll end up dying and switching back a version a lot quicker because of the fact that they'll go and use the wrong button for the task. That is going to be, yeah, that's going to add a challenge. Hopefully, when surviving actually matters, hopefully we don't actually switch back, and hopefully we don't have to switch back because of using the wrong click to fight off a monster. We shall see. Well, apparently there's a build limit in this game. We have reached the height limit, and you know what? There is no fall damage either, so let's just go ahead and keep building up as fast as we can, and build all the way up to the build limit, and build a gigantic tower. We got a big one, we got a average-sized one, and we got a tall one. So far. If you've ever wanted a weird-looking effect, if you've wanted a weird-looking effect, then try doing this and building yourself into blocks on your way up. Then you can see right through to the blue sky that is below the world, and you can see some shadows, and you can see a whole bunch of things. It looks very weird indeed. Well, this is going to be difficult. What we want to do here, we are up at the top of our tower. We want to actually build it out a bit. Let's go ahead and fill in the roof, but we want to build the tower out a bit from the sides, and there's no shift key, so we're going to go falling down if we do not aim properly. So yeah, that's going to be quite the challenge to do. We got to sort of work our way up sideways. One thing that seems to work is to back up on a slight diagonal, just enough that you don't fall off. If you just back straight up, you'll just go walking straight off the edge, just like that. Yeah, well, we got part of it done. Let's go ahead and... Ooh, that actually looks very nice with the dark on it like that. That looks very nice indeed. You know what? Let's keep it on only one side. That might be a good idea. Okay. Anyways, we have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. Be back with you in a minute. The end result of 20 minutes in Minecraft Classic, the very first version. We now have a giant hole in the ground. That actually looks very nice, actually. Looks very nice indeed. We have a giant tower with a staircase on the inside, but it'll take a while to get there because there is no sprinting. There is also a long building that looks like it would work very well with a wooden roof, but there is no wood in this version. And there is a bit of a mess over here, but it is supposedly a small building, not a 3x3, with a few random blocks on the outside. There we go, let's get rid of those. That is the end result of 20 minutes in this very first version. Let's go ahead and switch to the next version, where we have Steves. That is what we have in this new version. We have Steves running around everywhere, doing some sort of a dance there. Not sure exactly what he's doing, but he's sort of moving around, sort of, I guess, testing all of the moving parts or something, just to make sure all of the limbs move and the neck and whatever. But in any case, we are in this version here. We have this is the second alpha version, by the way, and we have a lot of strange Steves running around everywhere. And we have our buildings over here. Oh, some of them have fallen into this pit over here. This giant hole in the ground they are staying in. They do jump, actually. They do jump, which is nice. But they are stuck inside there. Very nice. Oh, that guy just fell in. Is it actually possible to push these guys, or do you just walk right through them? That's another question. But what we want to do is protect the Steves. So let's see. Oh, he's just going to avoid this house completely. Okay, well, let's go ahead and actually make this more accessible. Let's build a accessibility ramp around this house. Let's go ahead and build this like this so that the Steves can wander their way into the house over here. Well, that is that. We have a little bit of a place for the Steves here. Let's go ahead and, whoops, start the timer because this is a new version. The timer on the screen will probably already have been going, if there is a timer on the screen. But yeah, so we've got here, this is a new version indeed. And we have a whole bunch of Steves running around. They are collecting in that little hole in the ground there, it looks like. We have our giant thing here. None of them have made their way in there yet. We will see if they do or not. Oh, they do! No, they didn't. They're on the outside. Okay, then. Do they ever despawn? That is a good question. They probably do not despawn. There probably is a fixed amount of those guys in the world here. And are any of them making their way into this giant tower? Let's go ahead and climb up so we can survey our surroundings and see what in the world is up and down. What is down there from up here, we shall find out. But that is that. We have made it successfully into this version. One sunrise has happened, even though there is no sunrise in the game yet. There is no daylight cycle yet in the game. Aha, you can see there's a bunch of them in that little hole in the ground down there. There are also none of them in there yet, and that little round thing in the ground is a interesting place for them to head into. But yeah, so that is that. Okay, so we made it through the first version. We need to make it through the second version, so let's go ahead and do that. And I think our goal is to try to protect these Steves in little areas as much as possible, so that when we get monsters, if the Steves are still in the game, no idea if they still exist in the game at that point, but we shall be able to have some Steves. Build houses for them, things like that. That's the idea. Let's go ahead and see if we can do that for all of them in the remaining minutes that we have in this particular level. Oh, somebody made it into our little thing over here. He fell in. Excellent job. He is well protected in there. Well, once we remove the actual place on the outside that he can, that monsters can climb through when we get monsters in the game. But let's go ahead and head back over to this guy. It is very hard to catch these guys when they are running away because they are almost as fast as we are. So it makes it very difficult to catch up with them. But we can catch up with them, and then we can we just run right through them, so we cannot push them over into any sort of place. We want to contain all of the Steves. Come on back here, sir. You're running faster than me. You're running about as fast as me, actually. About as fast. Okay, let's go ahead and try to break some blocks. Try to get him in there. Try to get him in. Get him in. Get him in. Get him in. Got him in. Got him in. Hey, there we go. We got him in. We got the Steve in the hole. Excellent. We got him in the pit in the ground. That is very nice. And he is now well protected. He is still running around. They like to run around all the time. All the time. But let's go ahead and make his hole in the ground a little bit better. A little bit more room for him to run around in. There we go. Let's make a more of a diagonal pit in the ground like this. There we go. Let's go ahead and leave the area. And there we go. Excellent. Now, how many more do we have in the area? It looks like we have contained all of the Steves. It looks as if we have done so, unless there are more over here. That is always possible, but it will take a long time for us to get over there. So, our goal with this series is to survive and get to version 1.14, the newest version. By every day that we survive, every sunrise, we advance to a new version, and every time we die, we go back a version. But here's the thing, in these particular versions, there's no possibility of dying because it is the early alpha versions, which means that we are going to end this one right here. Next episode, getting tongue-tied, next episode we are going to be heading on to the next alpha version because there's not really any point in, there's no challenge really in this version right now. These Steves are really hilarious. But yeah, so we're gonna spend a maximum of 20 minutes per version until we get to the survival versions. And then we will spend 20 minutes. A full daylight cycle once we get to the survival versions. But in these, once we get to the survival versions, that is, stop getting tongue-tied and stuff. But once we get to those versions, we will be doing that. But right now, we are in creative versions, so we will spend a maximum of 20 minutes per episode. 20 minutes per version and something. Anyways, you guys must get the idea of what I'm trying to say. It's enough of getting tongue-tied for now. So let's go ahead and next episode head on to the next pre-classic version, or the whatever the next version is, and see what we see in those versions. Pretty soon we're going to have wooden planks added. We're going to have a lot of things. We're going to be able to actually finish the roof on that building, things like that, and work our way up to the survival versions. Hopefully be able to do a lot of the survival versions in a single episode. Hopefully be able to do a lot of the creative versions in a single episode later. But anyways, that is that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and you're excited for the challenge that is coming. And we shall see if we can survive and work our way up, similar to Snakes and Ladders, up to the 1.14, the most recent version. We shall see if that is possible. See you guys in the next episode.